Welcome to That's My Farm. I'm Jim Schroyer, your host for today. And today we're in Sedgwick County. We're on the Bergkamp family farm, and we're going to be talking to Mark Bergkamp in a moment. And you can see in the background we're cutting corn, and we're going to be talking about corn and some other crops here in Sedgwick County. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning, folks. I'm Jim Schroyer, the host of That's My Farm, and we're in luck because we're in Sedgwick County near Clearwater, and we're on the Bergkamp family farm. Yep. And with us today we have Mark Bergkamp. And hello. Mark, thanks for being with us, and glad you're taking time. I know you got to get into the corn patch here in a minute to cut some corn, but tell us a little bit about how your family got here, and then a little bit about your crop rotation. So I know you've got an interesting history on how your family got here, so let us have it.
All right. The way I take it, I'm not the most adept historian, but my great-great-grandfather's family came over from Germany. On the boat over here, my great-great-grandfather was a little baby. He got a fever, and the crew wanted them to throw him overboard. Fortunately, they decided, to keep him. He got better. They settled in Illinois, and eventually my great-grandpa made his way to Mount Vernon, Kansas. He had a convenience store, though, in St. Mark's, and I don't know, through the course of running the business, I guess they got robbed once. And after he got robbed, he said, that's enough of that, I'm going back to the farm. So he raised 8 boys out near Mount Vernon, and my grandpa settled around Garden Plain, they had 9 kids, and 3 boys, he got started farming in different parts. Like one uncle up in Harvey County, another one stayed in Garden Plain area, and my dad here near Clearwater. It was a half section. They bought it in 72 or 73. My folks got married in 75. My dad worked as an electrician in town for several years, and then got to be just during the winter, and then like in the mid-90s, we farmed enough to where he could farm full-time. And I went to college at Wichita State, and then...
So you're not too far away from home?
No, that's right, exactly. I stayed at home, and then I helped him through my whole college. I knew I wanted to farm, but I also wanted to go to college, and
you met your lovely wife there.
I met my lovely wife there, so everything worked out. Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, I want to know off camera here. I want to know what that cruise line was. I don't want to get sick on that cruise line.
I know. Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Throwing the baby overboard. so good thing. Good thing you got better. So okay. Let's talk a little bit about your crop rotations, and I know your dad, I know you've diversified a little bit more than just a few years ago. Yeah,
when he first started, I'm sure they were growing mostly wheat. In fact, this half section, especially the east quarter, was super flat, and he laser leveled it and then got into irrigation. And then once it was irrigated, I think as a kid, I always remember beans. I mean, beans everywhere. And then, the late 90s, we started growing more corn, and now we'll grow 3 years of corn to 1 year of soybeans on our irrigated.
No wheat in that rotation?
No,
irrigated?
No. I mean, I think it's a good rotation. It's just so labor intensive, and we get wet here in June, and so I mean we've had a year where we did have wheat on an irrigated. We harvested it in late July, and so then we went ahead and planted our double crop beans. They ended up making like 30 bushel, but it didn't freeze till November. So.
Okay, well, I tell you what, hang on, we're going to talk more about those crops, because we have to hear from our sponsors. So, folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at beyondtheelevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks, to That's My Farm. And as I said earlier, we're in Sedgwick County near Clearwater. We're on the Bergkamp family farm. We have Mark with us, and we talked a little bit about how the farm, how the family got here, and a little bit about crop rotations.
Yes.
And I know, we're in wheat country down in this area. A lot of corn, sorghum, soybeans grown. But let's talk about your wheat production for a few minutes here.
Okay.
So what? Take me from a field. How do you get to wheat?
Okay, from a field, say we've got corn growing on some fields now. We're hoping to get a little bit of rain here in September, have some decent planting conditions, and then start planting
July
wheat.
hasn't been too
I
good.
know.
But
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't.
Okay.
If we can just get a couple inches, enough to get the wheat up, then we'll plant wheat, put some starter down, some phos, probably 50 to 75 pounds. February time frame, of course I'll have soil sampled and I'll figure out how much nitrogen I'm going to need to raise 55, 60 bushel wheat.
Right.
And I'll try to put the rest of it on, February, sometime after the ground thaws.
So you're looking probably at 80 to 90, maybe 100 pounds of nitrogen for that crop,
yes.
that wheat crop?
Yeah, a lot of times it's pushing 100 after corn.
Okay. So you've still got some nitrogen possibly left over from the corn.
Depending on how it does, yeah.
What about planting into that residue? You're mainly no-till wheat after corn, so tell me a little bit about that.
We have a John Deere air seeder. The keys are we just try to keep the discs, in good condition, sharp. I'll drive 5 mile an hour if it's extremely thick, residue. And then if there's a lot of dew, I'll probably hold off in the morning and just, plant a little bit later.
Because you don't want the hairpin.
Yeah.
You want a good depth.
Right, yeah. Try and get it slice through that trash instead of just, hairpinning it.
Okay, yeah, that's a big issue with a lot of residue.
Yeah.
So, okay, what about seeding rates and time of planting?
If we'll get started 1st of October, roughly, and I'll plant, about that time I'll put 80 to 90 pounds usually. And then if it's later, if we're late October, I've never had to go up to 120, but I think it might, be worthwhile doing it.
Well, let's talk about varieties for a second here. What varieties do you mainly use?
Last year we were all Everest. This year our seed dealer had kind of said they had some pretty good luck with Gallagher.
From OSU?
From OSU, yeah. Okay. So we're going to try some Gallagher.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, that's pretty good coverage of wheat. I know your wheat yields weren't all that great this year due to the dry conditions.
Right.
But we have to pause for a second from a word from our sponsors. So folks, don't go away. We'll be right back in Sedgwick County.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Turn to a Central National Bank Ag Professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks, to That's My Farm. We're in Sedgwick County near Clearwater on the Bergkamp family farm, and we have Mark with us. And we've talked a little bit about the family history and a little bit on wheat production. Yes. Maybe not as much as I want, but now we're going to talk about corn, because corn is really taken off down in this area. So, Mark, tell us, take a field and go through the life cycle of corn for us on your farm.
Okay. I'm going to break it down in irrigated and dryland because they're really two different rotations.
Right.
On our irrigated, we grow 3 years of corn. And in between those years, we need to turbo till it in the fall, and then we'll come back and strip till and plant corn just to get rid of a little bit of that residue.
Right.
Then beans. The only reason we're doing that, type of rotation, that long of corn, is because of the sudden death issue in soybeans.
We'll talk about soybeans here in a second, but 3 years corn, then to soybeans.
Yes, on our dry land,
irrigated.
Yes, on our dry land where we're trying to do more of a no-till type system, I think rotation is just key. And so after wheat, we'll harvest a field, it's got wheat. We'll try and go back to double crop soybeans, and then we'll plant corn the following April.
Okay.
And
so how many years of corn in that situation?
One. But sometimes we're pushing 2.
Okay.
So probably half of our corn acres this year, our dryland corn acres, are corn on corn.
Okay.
So, and we've had good luck with that because it gives it time to replenish moisture. You're harvesting in August. The plants probably died in late July, so
depends on the moisture in July and the heat, right?
Yeah. So, and then we'll do second year of corn.
Okay, so you do have, and then you go back to wheat after that.
Yes, and then we'll go back to wheat after that.
Whether it's 1 year corn or 2 years corn on your dry land.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about populations
on
in the irrigated rotation and dry land as well. So what do you shoot for what do you drop in seeds per
on our
acre?
irrigated, we're dropping 30,000, and I'm shooting for 210. If we have a great year, it'll do better. Our dry land, it depends if it's sandier soil or shallower soil. I'll plant 15,000. I'll drop 15,000
and hope for 13.5 or 14.
Yeah, to come up. Yeah, that's about right. And it can still, if you have a great year, I think that probably tops out around 100. So we are limiting ourselves a little bit there. But a lot of this stuff, when we're in a rotation with wheat, double crop beans, corn, if I drop 15,000 corn, a lot of times it only takes 50, 60 pounds of nitrogen to get me 90 or 100 bushel of corn.
And that's what you shoot for, somewhere in that 90 to 100.
Yeah.
In a good year, obviously, better.
I like this year, some better.
Yeah, you tell me about your dry land corn this year.
Yeah, some of the fields, they were surprising me, anywhere from 120 to 140. We are, the one field of dry land that I dropped 15 on, and I put 60 pounds of nitrogen on, it's kind of sandy. And I planted a 96-day hybrid on it. It's only going to make maybe 85 or 90 this year. So I definitely left some on the table, but that's kind of the law of averages.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about fertility now.
Okay.
Irrigated.
On our irrigated, we'll take, we have CropQuest, and they always take our soil samples. Right. And typically in the fall, if I could just generalize everything, we'll put on 100 pounds of 1152 and 100 pounds of 0060.
On a field that's going to go to...
going to corn or beans.
Corn,
Yep, corn or beans. We'll just do that every year. And then we'll put our fall anhydrous on the heavy ground. And then sand is in the spring.
Okay.
So
tell me, let's talk a little bit more about fertility and what herbicides you're using on corn.
Okay, sure. On the fertility, our sandy pivots, we're going to try not to put any anhydrous on just because you're one rain away from losing it.
Right.
So we're going to either try to fertigate it or get some spread
put
on.
it through the sprinkler.
Put it through the sprinkler. So, and herbicides, with our no-till, we put down fall herbicides on everything just to take care of the mare's tail. So mare's tail is not an issue anymore. Pigweed is kind of the big problem, but we're posting corn, and the nice thing about it, if you're using a Lumax or something like that, you put it on the corn canopies and you're done.
And you don't have any issues with coming back to wheat after planting in the fall after corn. Okay, hang on, we're going to go to another crop here in a second, so folks, stay with us, we'll be right back.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. We're here in Sedgwick County with Mark Bergkamp. And Mark, we're obviously standing in a soybean patch right here, irrigated soybeans. So tell me how you get it going here.
Okay, sure. Our practices on soybeans usually after the third year of corn, we'll go ahead and rotate to soybeans. I won't plant my irrigated beans full season until the first part of June. I mean, if I can hold off till June 1st, I like it, and that kind of helps us with our SDS problems.
Sudden death syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And your fuller season tend to show a little bit more problems with SDS?
Yeah, if we try to plant them in May, I don't know if it's getting a cold snap in there or what it is, but yeah, we just can't do it. I mean, I can raise better beans planting them in late June. If it would happen to start raining, my irrigated beans that I can plant in late June will still do better than my May beans.
Well, your beans here look pretty healthy. I don't see a whole lot of holes from insects in here. So what about any type of fungicide or insecticides that you would use? Not
typically. I mean, if we have a problem, we have a crop quest. They do scout once a week. So if we have some bugs, then we'll go ahead and do what we have to do.
Bean leaf beetle and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, bean leaf beetle, a lot of times coming, the pod worms coming
right,
in the corn.
Exactly.
So, but this year, not yet. I mean, she comes today, so we'll find out.
So look, they look pretty good. Yeah. Really major time of putting on water?
We try and hold off, when they're small, keep them alive. And then when they start blooming a little bit later, like usually late July, we'll just start watering them and just keep watering them.
Well, I've always found that if you water soybeans too early, it's kind of like spoiled kids. Yeah. If you spoil them early, you kind of have to keep the water on the whole season long.
Yeah, they get big and they're never your best yielders.
That's right. Well, Mark, I tell you what, we're going to have to take a break from our sponsors here, so stay with us. We'll be right back. You folks at home, stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks, to That's My Farm. We're in Sedgwick County with Mark Bergkamp on the Bergkamp family farm. So Mark, we've talked a little bit about crop rotations and that sort of thing, your history. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts here of marketing. So real briefly here, tell me what your marketing strategy is.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the toughest part, one where you can make the most or lose the most. But we try to keep it simple. I mean, if we feel like we're getting a good basis and a good bid early, we may pre-sell 10% or something. But a lot of times we like to wait until we get things harvested. We'll try and move some out in, September.
Right, just shortly after harvest.
Right, or during harvest. And then we try and just do some every month, which with the grain setup now, it's kind of maybe disciplined us a little more, where, you can't haul everything out in 1 month, so you just kind of make some sales as you go
you've got
along.
quite a bit of storage here.
Yeah, and it's helped a bunch. During harvest, we can start harvesting at 18, we'll bring it in.
Dry it a little bit.
Dry it down, or if we have some 13, we can blend it out and make 15. And so, but yeah, I think it's disciplined our marketing. We just try and, we don't shoot for the home run, we don't try to hold things for a year till the price comes up or something. We just kind of move it.
Because it's expensive to hold things.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so tell me, what with the falling commodity prices, how's that going to affect your strategy as far as what you're going to be planning this fall and next spring?
Yeah. We'll probably stay with a similar rotation, we'll take a beating for 1 year, I guess. I mean, it's so tempting. Yeah, it's so tempting just to go ahead and plant some beans, because you're going to have a lot less inputs and everything, but who knows, next fall could be totally different. Bean price could be in the tank and corn could be decent, so.
Well, that's true. That's true. What about what you plant though versus, corn, a
right.
bag of corn's kind of pricey.
Yes. I mean, I always said I hope I never have to plant milo again, but I mean, it's kind of back on the table now. You look at spending $10 an acre instead of 50 or 60 for corn. A guy has to consider that, or even with wheat. I mean, low commodity prices, we could transition over to more wheat than we have now.
Right. So that's gonna, that does, obviously commodity prices does affect what you're going to be, your strategy is down the road.
It does.
So Mark, we talked a little bit about how you've marketed, but where do you market the grain?
Yes, our soybeans, Cargill has a crushing plant here in Wichita, so we'll go there.
That's not too far away.
No, not too far away. A lot of the corn, it'll go to feed yards, ethanol plants, swine, swine lots, stuff like that. So when we can, we'd like to market to the end user as much as possible.
Okay, well, good. Well, Mark, I want to thank you for being on the show with us, and I hope you watch it next week.
Yes, I'll tune in.
And you folks at home, I hope you watch That's My Farm again next week, and thanks for being with us today.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.